Hello, everyone. It's William here, and Andrew's in the background.
Howdy.
We are, of course, from Allegory Gallery if you're watching this. Um, so, today we've been running around. We're starting here a little late today. I wasn't even sure if we were going to go on. Um, as many of you know, and I'm just going to put this out there out front. First, we want to thank you all so much for all the good thoughts and all the good energy that so many of you have been sending over to Babette. That's our cat, for those of you who may be tuning in who don't know. She had some of her kidney numbers start to elevate again. And we weren't sure, when she first had all of this going on, her numbers were high. And then we got her numbers to come down, and we were hoping that it was an acute kidney issue. They are now treating it as a chronic kidney issue because her numbers have gone back up again. Um, they're actually higher now than they were even in the beginning. But we have gotten her on fluids, and she's on blood pressure medicine because blood pressure can get wonky when you have kidney issues, I guess. So I just want to put that out there. She is doing better today. She has eaten a little more today. We went out and spent probably a good 45 minutes to an hour outside this morning before I got anything going in our life. I took her outside by herself, so we weren't with all the other brothers. Um, and she got to just spend some time out there with me, just kind of on her own and relaxing and not having to supervise her brothers, which I think she feels like she has to do. Um, so
Is
um,
the alpha.
she is the alpha. So she is, the fluids seem to have perked her up. Like I said, we're trying to find foods that she is interested in eating. Some of her regular food she hasn't been interested in, but that could be a result of the kidney issues.
There's
Um,
like a buffet in the house.
there
There's
is like
like
a cat
12
buffet.
different
I
kinds.
keep opening cans, hoping she'll find something she likes.
She
Um,
ate today though.
she did eat today. We found one that she liked. I opened two this morning, and luckily one of those was one that she wanted to eat, and she's been eating it most of the day. So I do need to go to the store and pick up more of that one because she seems to like it. So I'll be doing that. But she is eating. She is still able to get up and down stairs and jump up and down on the couch, and she's a little shaky. That's kind of how we knew something might be going on. She started getting a little shaky the one night. Um, so we took her into the vet, and it was time for her checkup anyway, and her numbers are higher. So we're trying to get those numbers back down. Hopefully, the fluids will help. Babette has probably had one kidney her entire life. Her brother passed away about 2 years ago, almost a year and a half ago, um, from kidney issues. So I think there's something hereditary or something with them and their pack probably that had kidney issues. Um, Sometimes I wish I knew where the other ones in their brother and sister pack went to, but we're going to do the best we can for her, and we're going to keep giving her fluids. We give her fluids 3 times a week, is what we're supposed to start out with, and we've heard miracle stories where cats on fluids can go for years and years under supervision. So hopefully that is what happens. We've caught this one, I think, earlier than we were able to catch Paolo. Paolo took a downturn pretty much overnight or very quickly within like 2 days. So it was a very drastic and quick downturn, and we lost him very quickly. So we are hoping that his sister Babette does not do that. So far, we've been able to fight this, and we're still fighting it. So I just wanted to say that to get that out, so that everyone knows. Babette Janice, she's 12 years old. Her brother passed away at 10, almost 11, 10 and a half or so, and she is 12. So, in my experience, that's very early to lose a cat. We used to have cats growing up that were like outdoor cats or indoor outdoor cats, and you fed them junky food, and they lived to be 18, 22 years old. Um, so, um, but I do think that we never had Paolo in an ultrasound, so we don't know if he had more than one kidney or if he had kidney issues. He obviously did have kidney issues. And Babette has one very small kidney and one enlarged kidney right now. So she's probably only had one her entire life. So we're trying to do the best we can for her. So that is the story on Babette and what is going on. I don't want to talk about it too much more, so we will move on because I don't want to think about bad things because she's doing well today. So we're going to go with that. And her brothers and sisters, her brothers are very, very supportive. They've been very good, keeping an eye on her and walking up to her and making sure she's okay. They smell her and give her kisses. So that's that. I am obviously in my home office today, as you can see from the background. We were up in Johnstown today doing a few things, and we were going to do this from the cottage, and then I realized we took the other car and I didn't have the cottage keys on my key ring. So we stopped at the cottage, realized none of us had keys to the cottage, and we came home. So we decided to do this from here. You may hear background noise. I have a fan going because it is hot in here. My air conditioner is in this window, and if I turned that on, you would definitely not hear me at all. So hopefully you can hear me okay over the fan noise. Gilbert is here by my side. That's who I'm reaching down out of the picture to pet. And Andrew's behind me, well, in front of me actually, behind the camera. So what's going on out there? We're just doing a chat session today. We don't have anything new necessarily to show you because I didn't stop in the store and pick up new things. We had a great class session today. I got reports from Jen, and there were a number of people in the store making things. I have pictures to share, so I'm going to be sharing pictures of those after this. And we had a lot of people in and doing great projects. So I hope you too. I see Nancy is. Nancy says, I am beading. That's awesome. I hope people are out there beading today. We want to see you making things. That's what it's all about, right? Making pretty things. Or not even pretty, just making things, right? Maybe you don't want to make pretty things, and that's okay too. Donna says that's great. The class went well. Yes, the class sessions seem to go very well. Like I said, I'll be sharing pictures. I haven't even had a chance to look at all the pictures yet and see what people have made. I took a look at some really quickly before we started here this broadcast, but yeah. And shipping is going. I was finally able to, when we do a live sale, it is out of the ordinary for our shipping helper. It's not like an online store thing, and it's a little bit different than if things are all lined up and ready to go. And so I was able to get in earlier today and work with our shipping helper to get all of the check glass sell down, the gemstone sell down, and the Monique sell down stuff all sorted and kind of go over it with her to kind of tell her how we did it in the background, because you see one thing and she watches these videos too sometimes, usually in the replays, and so she knows what's going on, but the way we actually categorize and spreadsheet things out and invoice you is a little different. So I was able to do that. So anybody waiting on those, she is working on those. She worked on them today. I don't know how many. I wasn't able to check in to see how many, if any, she got shipped out. She is working on combining all of your orders. If you ordered throughout those lives, you will see that only one should have shipping costs, unless you had something else or it went over a certain amount. So she is working on combining. There were actually 5 live sales, parts 1 and 2 to 2 of them, and then part 1 to the other. And so she's combining all 5 of those for people so that they all ship together and it'll save you all on shipping. So I don't know if she got any shipped out because she's working on combining everything, all of it. So those should be shipping out soon though. So if you had questions on that, hopefully that answered that. Let's see what else is going on with everybody. Nancy says, I'm weaving tiny orbs. That's cool. That's cool. Susan had a decent wellness check today. We get blood draws done next week, so fingers crossed. Yes, good luck on those. Sending you good vibes out there. Susan's planning on posting some earrings over the weekend to the DC page. Nice. I can't wait to see them. If you're not in our Design Challenge group, let me throw that link up here So you can, it's not really a link, but it's kind of the URL, I guess I'll call it, up over there. Let's see here. And so this is a great distraction, and I'm grateful I've been able to create again. Yes, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Very glad to hear it. We like to see people creating stuff. Let's see here. Norma says, I got a shipping notification today, so I'm looking forward to a package next week. Awesome. I like when that happens. That means things are going well, right? Things are working out the way they should. Suzanne says, long weekend, but teaching Monday. Nice. Monday is a holiday, July 4th. And generally we close the store down on July 4th. So we will probably be closed, which means I have to actually tell people we're going to be closed. So I got to remember to do that. But yeah, any plans for the 4th? Anyone have any plans out there that they're planning on doing? Today is our July. Yeah, it's Canada Day, right, Marianne? Is it Canada Day? I think that's what you call it up there. Hope you're having a good holiday and enjoying it. Susan says, Nancy, please post what you make. Yes, please post what you make. So yeah, what else is going on with everyone? What's going on with you, Andrew?
Well, do you really want to know?
Do y'all really want to know? Whoop! Gilbert's running around up here.
He's like, I don't know.
He says, I don't know if I want to know.
He's like, I'm out. So, should I tell them?
Go ahead.
All right. So one of the things that we've been working on in the background is a project called the Acre Partners Cohort. And I've talked a little bit about it before. And what it is a collaboration between different nonprofits in the area with the aim of encouraging creative entrepreneurs to move to the Johnstown area. And this is their pilot year. So basically that means we're all guinea pigs and they're trying to figure things out. So we've been working with them and doing our own work on how to better improve our business and think about the future. So we've been, part of what we're doing now is we're looking in the past and fixing things in the past. I feel like that sounds like I'm a time traveler. And in some ways it is, because we've been looking through a lot of paperwork. I would show you, but the stack is too big and I'm afraid it would fall out of order. So what that means is we're going to be transitioning our business to an LLC. And that's going to become an umbrella organization for other things underneath it. So currently everything's a sole proprietorship. So we're going to be moving our business to a little bit of a different setup. And what that does is it opens the door for more possibilities. And if, something could change, like if we sold our business or something, it would be a little bit tricky because everything is tied into William. Whereas with the LLC, it's a little bit different of setup. It's kind of like what Facebook recently did with becoming Meta. Y'all heard about that thing, Facebook, Instagram. We're not near as big as Facebook.
No.
Or Instagram or Meta. Or like Google recently did that too with was it Alphabet. Mm-hmm. So we're working on that in the background. So that's a big project for us because we have to go through all of our financials. And we've been also working on our business plan. So this is something that I recommend to everybody out there, whether you're thinking of starting a business or if you are a longtime business owner. It's always good to revisit your business plan and work on a new one. And I actually did a talk about your business plan on YouTube. Is it YouTube? Or Facebook Live?
Did a live.
And it was during the small business week that we did at the TGBE or something like that. I can't remember. So anyways, we're taking our own advice and we're working with different business coaches to develop a new business plan. And that's been super helpful for us to think about the future and how we want to grow and change. And one of the things that we're doing, originally we proposed doing a pop-up shop in Johnstown. And I'm not saying that we're not going to do that, because we can definitely still do that. But the opportunity to purchase a building recently became available. It's very early stages and nothing is concrete, and we actually don't have any money. We have $0.
We have negative dollars right now.
So we have to figure out a way of making this happen. However,
but there's a very cute building up for sale.
And it's in a very transitional neighborhood. And when I say that, sometimes that scares people. They're like, oh no, you're going to get shot in the face. But what I'm kind of feeling, and this is maybe, hearkening back to our youth time, or at least my youth time. When I moved to New York City, I moved to Gramercy Park, which is on Park Avenue, and is probably one of the most expensive areas in New York City. I rented basically a closet in somebody's apartment, and you could touch the walls. Like if you put your arms out, you could touch the walls. And so after living there for a while, I realized that I'm slightly claustrophobic. And granted, I wasn't there a whole lot, so it didn't really matter. But what it did inspire me to do was move to a larger apartment. And where I moved, because this is before William, I was going to say where we moved, but we weren't together yet.
I didn't know him then.
Is East Williamsburg Industrial Park. And talk about transitional.
Where you could afford to move is the
thing.
Yeah,
it was where I could afford to move without working a full-time job necessarily. Well, I was working 3 jobs and going to school at the same time. So I could not afford to live in the cute neighborhoods that were already fixed
How much were you paying for the?
$1,400 for that.
And that was back
no. That was $1,000 for that one.
And then $1,000 for a closet back in 2000
something,
2004,
the 2000s. We'll leave it at that. 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
So when I moved, I moved to, I think it was 1,000 square feet loft, and we had to build our own rooms, and it was interesting living there. I mean, I had really good times, but I also had challenging times. But that was significantly less, and I had way more space. And in theory, it was cool, but there were just some people who were a little bit problematic that moved in.
Yeah, you never knew who your roommates or your housemates are going to be.
And it was set up where we didn't pick them. So we met them and we're like, no, we don't want to live with these people. And then the apartment manager was like, but I like them, so I'm going to pick them. And then the ones turned out to be kind of drug addict style.
Suzanne is asking, how far is Johnstown from Ligonier? It's about 30 minutes time-wise.
Yeah, it's only 20 minutes from the cottage.
Yeah, 20 minutes from the cottage, 30 minutes from downtown. Cynthia says, you really have to love a city a lot to pay that much for so little.
Yeah, and eventually we didn't. Eventually, we left. After living in a 5-flight walk up, and then I liked our last apartment.
Yeah, that was the apartment I had, and it was a 2-bedroom in an up-and-coming neighborhood in Brooklyn. And
and sometimes,
which I think now has up and come and would have
it would have been great to live there now. Right. And pay that. But that's a long time ago. 15 years ago. So the new place that we're looking at is in an area that at one point was one of the most wealthy areas of Johnstown. Actually, it was like the upper middle. So like the rich people lived in an area called Westmont, and then the middle rich people lived in this area that we were looking at, and then
Yeah,
after,
like all the like Johnstown, if you don't know, is a big steel mill town. And when the steel mills were in there, a lot of the owners or the supervisors or managers of the steel mill lived in this area. And there are some really nice, big mansions there.
and a lot of beautiful architecture,
Mhm.
and there was because there was a stable source of income and employment. Um, the houses were really charming. However, when the steel mills closed, there was a lot of uh, changes that happened. And so Johnstown has been, you know, kind of on the decline in a lot of ways.
Definitely population wise.
And so right now there's a bunch of people who are trying to band together and get things going,
Revitalize.
and create a renaissance for the area. And it's a really nice place to do it because things are still relatively affordable. There's things around. Sometimes in Ligonier, even though it's like super cute and super charming, sometimes you just want to go to the grocery store. Like you want to go to a bigger store, and you just, you have to drive to it. And so one of the places you drive to is Johnstown. So, it's either Greensburg or Johnstown, or if you need a really big city, then Pittsburgh. So we're currently looking at a building. It's super charming. There's a tenant who has a good tenant history. They actually work on the building. And
They're the
so,
caretaker for the building, and they want to stay.
yeah, the tenant. So that's good. And we actually knew the former owners who did a majority of the work before, when we first moved to the area. Isn't that crazy how you meet people and you don't know how they'll play a part in your history? And like I'm saying this like we already got the building.
I know. We did not.
We did not get it.
We're not even
maybe
close yet.
So if we are serious about this, we're going to have to think about some different solutions. And one of the things that we knew about our business with the beads is very feast or famine. And so it's very up and down. And so we knew that we had to have a second source of income. And we've known this for a while. And so, I mean, we don't necessarily need to have a second store. However, it would make things a lot easier if there was another revenue stream. With the shop, there's pretty much a glass ceiling of how much you can make because of just the sheer number of people in the area.
Yeah, and we've had our store for what, 11, 12 years.
Almost 12.
Almost 12 years, and we've seen what it gets to, and it constantly gets to around the same area in as far as what we make.
In a normal year,
yeah,
we've seen what it can get.
Right. So we know where, like, we kind of know where that ceiling is right now. Whether we change something dramatically in what we do or we add another revenue stream would be something that it would take to get further.
Yeah, the only way that we could really make this store profitable enough that we wouldn't have to change, like the way that we would be able to make it so profitable that we would just be able to close. Okay, so what I'm basically saying is that if we don't want to have the struggling time, the only way to do that would be to close the physical location. Because our in-store location is very up and down because we live in a very seasonal place. So when it's warm out, that's when we make our money. And when it's cold, which is 8 months, 6 months, 7 months out of the year, however long. How long is winter? Like
I
4
mean,
or
when
5
it starts
months.
getting cold in Halloween, I mean
And
that's when
that
it gets. That's I mean we still do our porch party, and it can still be
cold.
decent. I mean, but it can be cold.
And it can snow on Halloween. It snowed on Halloween before.
So November, December, January, February, March, 5 months, 5, 6 months.
March, sometimes April.
Yeah, but usually by April you don't get a lot of you get a snow here and there, but it's warmer.
So that's why the one of the very physical reasons of why our store is so up and down is that when it's like 6 degrees out, there's not people like walking around and shopping. There's like a few, but our business is not like a restaurant. It's not like if you like mostly if you go into a restaurant, you're gonna eat, unless you actively see somebody like spitting in your food, you're gonna
Yeah, once
probably
you've walked
get
in the door, unless there's a line, like a big line or a long wait, or once you're in the door, you're going to eat.
pretty much. With our store, if you had one bad experience with beading as a child, or if you had no experience with beading as
And
a
it doesn't even
child,
take that. It just takes someone being just looking and saying, "This isn't for me." We hear that all the time.
so they look in the door and then
Or they walk in 2 steps and they say, "Oh, this isn't," and they turn around and leave.
so that is part of what we're dealing with. So one of the things about opening another store would be, in theory, that we would have another revenue, and we figured it out that the new store would only have to really make half as much as we do now to be what we need to keep going. And if we can find a building that has other tenants in it that are self-sufficient and it pays for the thing, then we of course have to invest in inventory and different things like that. But after that, it's pure profit because you don't have the negative of, the way with our store, the rent is kind of high. And so whether or not we do well that day, it's always taking money out.
Yeah, when you look at, I mean, we are paying more rent than a lot of stores in town, and we sell beads. So you have stores selling clothing and stores selling, all different kinds of things that are bigger, that bring in more money at a time. We're selling beads. And yes, the stranded gemstones can go for $200-300, but that kind of sell is rare, very rare. So when we're looking at the kind of rent we pay compared to the pricing of our goods, we have to sell a heck of a lot more than a lot of people, and there are other people still having a hard time. So it can be difficult.
Yeah, some of the bigger spaces, they're having issues filling their spaces because it's so big, and you can't really have an empty looking store. Or you can, but you just have to be really specific about it. Which a lot of the stores in this area is more kind of mentality. So one of the things that they had to do to trick people is they created a false wall and moved their false wall so the store would look more full.
We're seeing more and more of that in the stores.
And like people figuring out ways that they can like move merchandise around so that they don't have to buy new stuff. And like if you pay attention, you can kind of see it. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm actually saying that's a good thing that they're
people
doing stuff.
Yeah, and then people have to do what they do to survive right now, and that's why we're looking at what we need to do to survive.
So we're thinking about the new space. We really haven't talked to the Acre people about this because part of it is I don't want them to try to quash our momentum. Not to say that they would do that, but sometimes we throw out ideas for them to consider. And they're working with a lot of like new people who don't have businesses.
Yeah, the majority of people in it are very new. So they're they can find ways to help new people, but they don't necessarily understand or have found their ways to help us who've been in business for 12 years.
So like some of the things they're like, have you ever thought about setting up at the farmers market? And we're like,
We've done shows.
yeah. Have you ever done a show before?
Yeah.
And I used to do like 20 shows a year, and some of the largest
You did more than that a year.
industry conventions in the country. So it's kind of like, it's an amazing resource, and I'm not saying anything bad. It's just that this is their pilot year, so figuring out what they need to do to help us has sometimes been a little bit.
We're all finding our way.
Yeah. So we're still kind of trying to figure things out.
And when you come to a group like that and you say, we have like negative money, but we found a building.
Like their instant thing is going to say no.
No. But we've worked miracles before.
And the building is priced so low that in theory, if we worked really, really hard, we could make it happen. We would definitely need a co-signer. And they would probably get the mortgage, and then we would just give them the down payment.
And rent to own kind of thing.
Yeah. Even the more, like, we would technically be paying for everything, but
because we're mortgaged up right now.
Yeah, we can't. If it was like a combo deal when we bought the cottage, we could have done it. But because we have the cottage now, it makes it look really bad.
But that's not to say it's impossible.
No. So I'm optimistic and hopeful that we could probably try to make it happen. So today, part of what we did is we went around to some of the other local businesses, and we talked to them and did our kind of due diligence about, scoping out the neighborhood and
talking to other merchants about how things are and what goes on. And our two boy cats are attacking each other. They're hugging, as Andrew says, aggressively. So yeah, we were talking to other merchants and other stores and other, little shops around the area. And there aren't a lot of them, but luckily we were able to talk to the owners of most of them. A lot of them, the owners work right in them, which we love to see because that's how we are. And so we were able to talk to them and see what they do and what they're working on. And they seem like a pretty nice little community within themselves.
And there is room for our growth. Mm-hmm. So if our one store takes off and we have disposable income,
which would be so nice someday.
I know. we're close. So some of the things that got us kind of behind, besides the pandemic,
which is a big one.
Yeah, our numbers were never the same after. We bought the pewter line, and I'm hopeful that will take off. But it is what it is.
The biggest money in that is in the production and the possible wholesale of that, but we have to pay it off first and then build up the capital to do that.
Yeah, so it's going to take.
So we own the rights, which is beautiful, but to actually put that into motion and to create more for that line and to get that produced, that's where the actual revenue from that line will come in, but that's not going to be for a while.
For at least a year.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we're paying. And then, of course, the cottage. Mm-hmm. And we knew that would be a big expense. And
a multi-year expense.
We knew that because we couldn't open a retail space in the cottage, that kind of knocked some of knocked us back a little bit. Because I had anticipated that we would just start within a year, we would have the store in the cottage up and running, and that would be our place of extra additional revenue. However, That's not what happens. And we could make that happen, but it's a $50,000 thing.
And we'd kind of rather not.
Yeah, we kind of want to keep it separated out, and it does pay for itself if you think about it as like our fulfillment place and storage. Like if I had to rent a studio, which we were kind of looking at as an option, that would be $300 to $500.
Most studio
by
space,
itself.
like we've looked at studio space in Johnstown. We know people who are renting studio space there, and it's more than our mortgage for the cottage.
So it makes sense. I mean, I would love a bathroom, and that's like a, you know, I want that in my life. I want that
Yeah, but
poop
it's
hole
like
so bad.
it's a multi-year project.
No, I hope that's a multi-month project, because there were a couple close calls. If we're talking true today, we're gonna have a real let's chat. There were some close calls.
Some close calls. Helen says all of this is very exciting. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, so I don't know, like realistically, I think if we pushed really hard, we could probably raise what we need as a bare minimum down payment in probably, if we work really, really hard, probably a month.
Ooh, that'd be working really hard.
I know.
We'd have to like double or triple our income.
I know, which is not something that I necessarily want to do. And we're coming up to some really big things that I'm not going to be able to be on board for everything. So that's where it gets a little bit scary. But I also feel like, you know, if we wait too long, we're going to miss out. Mm-hmm. That's just the inevitable truth of it. Because we saw one building in Johnstown, and granted, we didn't look at it as closely as we did this one, but that place had multiple showings and was sold in 2 months, you know. And so yeah.
Jewelry Designs by Rose says, "Don't rent, buy if you can."
That's what we're trying to do.
That's the goal. That's the big goal.
Like we would love to move. We would love to have a forever home for Allegory Gallery, but we don't want to move from Ligonier, because then we would have to sell.
And when we talk about another store, we're not necessarily talking about a bead store.
No,
because we have a customer base in Johnstown already that like to leave Johnstown to actually visit Ligonier and have a destination for shopping.
Yeah.
So we don't want to take that away and try to necessarily do the same thing. And there are already people in the area who are doing similar things.
Like with the
crystals and metaphysical. And we don't want to, you know, embark on that. We don't want to.
No, because that's not how you do it.
That's not how you make money, by selling the same thing that your neighbor's selling.
That's like when the bead store in the town over from us was like, "Whoa, you inspired me to open a bead store in the town over." And I was like, I didn't inspire that. I was like, I don't want to quash your dreams, but I also realized that you're cutting the pie into smaller pieces.
Right.
So the thing is one of the concepts that we're looking at is something that we could partner with our existing inventory and experience. So like we would, if we focused mostly on finished jewelry, then we could have maybe like a pop-up of our Allegory Gallery there and have a space for that. So we would do a beading class there, you know? So it is something to consider. And also, like, I don't know, I look at, one of the things that I've been interested in is kind of looking at what other people who have means have done. And, you know, I see so often where people, they have these investment properties and they do well just having the investment properties. So if anything ever would happen where we couldn't man the store ourselves, we could either sell the store and they could rent from us, or we could rent out this space. But either way, it would be another way of getting revenue.
Yep.
So that's just something to think about.
So that's what we've been doing in the background.
Which is a lot of work.
Which is a lot of work, an exceptionally big piece of work.
I'm shaking the money tree trying to find this.
Right.
This
And doing a finished jewelry store, something like that, is also, it's a way that we can, like right now, we don't do much on consignment at all. We're not built for that. Our inventory system can handle it, but it's a messy thing because we don't do it most of the time. Like you usually pick something that you do on one time, you do something and you do that. When we get into consignment, it's hard because most of our stuff is bought and purchased by us and then we just resell. When you do consignment, you're working on a whole different system. So the fact that if we did a jewelry store, we could also do consignment the same way that we have artisan beads in store, we could have artisan makers making things and selling things.
In my mind, the new concept would be like if we took the project wall and did the project wall.
A whole store.
And so we could have non-art, like non-jewelry things, like paintings or photographs or whatever. If William, when he gets his wheel set up, we could sell his ceramics and
hopefully they're good enough to sell.
You don't think so?
I don't know. Who knows?
Look at that little cute shot glass.
What shot glass? My little shot glass?
Yeah, look how charming.
This one?
Would you buy that?
Would you buy that?
I would.
My little shot glass? Andrew says I would. I do like some of my things. I like my little vase, the little single flower vase.
I'm gonna have him set up production style, make me a bunch of little bowls.
How about that little thing?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would buy that.
You're crazy. Have you seen our house? Our house is full of stuff like that.
Oh, there's my other one. You have stuff in it. I was like, where's my other one? This one. That one. See? Now, whether I could actually sell stuff I make, I don't know. I have a whole table full of stuff.
And realistically, the area is not, it's not necessarily you're going to get random people walking by.
There's not a lot of foot traffic right now in general.
It's something that you would have to be a destination for people to seek out. And
we're used to that, though.
Yeah.
Because even like we talked about, people walk in and walk right back out. The people who often walk in and stay are the people who came for the destination. They knew we were there, or they were looking for us there, and they came in for us. So we're used to that. And we're used to compensating online, too. So it would have an online division as well.
And we've already, if we go with the concept that we're thinking, we already have all of the social media locked down and all of that.
We did the legwork for this years ago. Sandra says, so cute, the shot glass. Thank you. Marianne says, yes, I do like your little pottery pieces. Thank you. Absolutely. All of those are nice items. Thank you, Sylvia.
Imagine little offering bowls.
Cute pottery, William, says Molly. Thank you. Yeah, I want to do pottery someday.
We're just so busy that
I know
it's hard to
and funds are tight. So buying clay, buying glazes, doing that kind of stuff is hard right now.
Dude, I got glazes.
He says, I got them. See, I don't know this stuff. I don't know this stuff.
The clay's maybe a little dried out.
It would be dry. I got wetted out.
We got to reconstitute it.
I watched how to do that.
Yeah, so we're, we can do things. We just, once we get over this initial hurdle, I feel as though we'll be in a better position to do that. So within a year, we can
hopefully within a year, if we can keep the momentum up that we have going right now, which is we're getting worn out a little bit. It's been years of keeping this momentum up, but if we can keep it up for another year or so, I think we're going to be better off.
In a place where we can breathe.
Hopefully.
So I know that sometimes it's hard for people to wrap their head around. Sometimes we're like, well, if it's not broke, why fix it? But what you realize is that sometimes there are cracks and you have to fix the cracks. Otherwise, eventually you slowly leak out and then it's almost like it's broken. Right.
Sandra says, I wish you would add a tip option in Shopify on your site.
If you ever want to just send us money, you can do that. It's William at allegorygallery.com. We accept donations on PayPal and
Andrew's
Venmo.
not afraid to plug it.
Why not? You know, how I feel about life is if you don't open your hand, you don't receive.
It's true, right?
There's so many times when people say no to things and then they are surprised when when nothing happens.
Right.
Like I met somebody recently and we were talking about business and art and life. And so we were just talking and they're like, no, 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 no. And I was like, so how do you make money then? And they're like, well, the main way that I make money is I have a different job. And then I was like, there you have it. And there's nothing wrong with it. But I feel like if you are constantly closing yourself off to different possibilities and ways of doing things, then, you know, it's automatically, you're like setting yourself up for failure automatically.
Well, even if not failure, for just not progress.
Yeah. Plateau. Because I feel like one of the things, and this is, and I shouldn't, you know, I want to caution that. Like, one of the reasons why we do so well, I think, is because there's two of us, and I am more of the leap and the net will appear and catch you.
And I'm like, let's build out the net a little bit. Let's build a bridge at least halfway.
William is more cautious. So
very cautious, actually.
So in between my jump and the net will appear and his more cautious, like somewhere in the middle ground is where that kind of kernel of potential success is found. So, yeah. So what did y'all do with your Friday?
That's what we did with ours. In amongst watching Babette and making sure we were here for her.
Yeah, so we've been pretty busy consistently with everything.
Yeah. We're always busy though, I feel like. Like, I don't know. I'm waiting for the day I get a little break.
I don't think it's coming for another year or two.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I feel like if you don't do it, if you don't work hard when you have to make hay while the sun is shining. Otherwise, you're going to cry in the nighttime when the wolves come and get you.
Rosemary Lee says, getting ready to sell at an art show in Alameda.
Oh, great.
That's nice.
I did the Alameda flea market.
Yes, he did. Cynthia says, what are you all planning for your takeover day?
We are making a kit this weekend that will launch probably tomorrow. So
we'll be busy.
We have to after this, we have to pick up a table. I got a table. Don't worry about it. Don't look confused. I got a free table on the internet.
I didn't know about this until this very moment.
Well, that's what happens sometimes.
Where are we going to pick up this table?
Somewhere in Ligonier. It's so nice, this table. But we do have to take it apart and because it won't fit in our van without doing it. It's a screwdriver, William. It's not like, don't make that face.
Okay.
Your face is like so incredulous. I'm like, dude,
I can see my face on here. I know what it looks like.
I know. It's not that hard. You just go and you unscrew it and then you take.
So what are we doing for takeover day though? That's different.
Oh, we're gonna have a kit, so there'll be a make along.
On the takeover day?
Yeah.
Not on the day of the Great Beat Extravaganza?
No, that we haven't talked about yet. Or we have. So there's a lot of work that goes into our other part. So I'm not going to ruin the surprise because I always like, that's what the preview party is. Silly britches.
I also have to be gone for part of preview day or for takeover day.
Yeah, me too.
I have to switch my job that day.
Well, who's finding that out now today?
Everyone gets surprise information today.
I'm not the only one. And I was supposed to be in Pittsburgh for something.
We schedule ours generally in advance anyway,
Well, yeah.
except for the live.
So it'll be interesting. Y'all gonna be getting from the bar in Pittsburgh because I have to do.
I'll tune in from my job, and she's gonna tune in from the bar in Pittsburgh.
People are gonna be like, "What's happening?"
Where's Cynthia gonna be?
She's not here yet.
Oh, that's right.
She comes after. Our takeover day is the 13th.
When does she come?
Azalea's thing starts on the 17th, so I'm guessing the 16th. Cynthia's a show on, I believe, the 10th. The Big Crafty in Asheville, North Carolina.
So if you're in Asheville, go.
Yeah, so they got gas money.
Yeah, they gotta get here.
I kind of thought I would go down and pick them up if they don't have a second car, but I don't know. We have to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know. We got a lot to do.
Because I kind of wanted to go to this weaving.
When do we have to pick up this table at?
When we're done with the talking.
That's okay, they're open?
At somebody's house.
Because I know we're not home that often. Anyway, what have you all been doing? We've been taking up this whole time.
The Let's Chat is me and William
I know,
chatting.
just me and Andrew chatting along. What are y'all doing out there? Let us know. Let us know. So Molly says they better hope they have the correct screwdriver, right?
We're going to be both. Bring both.
This is we're taking both.
It's true.
It is. It is. Lots of short walks around the apartment building, says Marianne. I know, I've seen pictures of your walk, some of your walks, your morning walks. They look nice. Are you doing anything special for Canada Day up there? Do you do it? I don't know. I know nothing about it really. So is it like our 4th of July where there are fireworks and lots of crazy stuff going on? Or is it just like a day off work or something? Because just a day off work sounds good too sometimes.
Stop trying to make that a thing, William.
And I actually don't like fireworks that much, like the noise, because I know they're bad for veterans with PTSD and animals. Now, some people do the fireworks that are the no sound fireworks, and those are pretty. Susan says, planning a simple weekend, probably making some stuff, and choosing a new book to read. That's nice. Teresa's joining in. Thank you for joining in. We're probably just about done, unfortunately, so you can watch the replay. Saunders says, I'm headed to Virginia and North Carolina on Tuesday. 17 days off, counting this weekend. Nice.
Where are you going in the places?
Andrew said, where are you going in those places? In case you couldn't hear with the fan noise. Barnaby came back after aggressively hugging his brother. So yeah, that's, hi bud. Come on, you want to come up and say hi? You want to come up and say hi to everybody? Get up here.
Don't you want to talk to your fans, Barnaby?
Susan says, in my area, we get to play, was that fireworks or gunfire game at this time of the year? Not fun. That's kind of around here too. A lot of people set off.
They shoot off their guns.
They shoot off their guns, or they set off those big firecrackers. The what do you call them? The M somethings, whatever they're called. I forget now. M30 or whatever they're called. The big noisemakers. Marian says, yes, Canada Day fireworks usually, and usually some events at museums and local attractions. Lots of people go camping. That's cool. I like that. I don't know if I like camping. I've never been camping. Sandra's going to see family and the Charleston Tea Plantation in Savannah.
I love Savannah.
I've never been to Savannah.
Well,
Andrew never takes me, everyone.
Me and Azalea had a great time. We stopped for lunch and had the best day looking at shops. And instead of sitting in traffic, we went and got food and had a nice time. We walked around, looked at some art.
And then I just flew down. Molly says, not much here. Quiet summer day. I'm scrolling on Facebook and YouTube. I think we'll barbecue this weekend.
That sounds fun.
M80s. Yes, that's it, Susan. Sandra says, making the ruby necklace this weekend for my sister's birthday. The rubies that she got from us. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like those. Let's see. Molly says, oh, we have a week long fireworks celebration that people put on here, complete with the illegal fireworks. Yeah, fireworks used to be more illegal in Pennsylvania, but I think they opened that up a few years ago now. You used to have to cross the border into Ohio. People would cross the border, or they'd have to have a special permit to put them off, but they've lessened that a little bit here recently. Suzanne says, I want to see the tea plantation. Susan says, 1 year, the remains of an M80 were sitting on our deck chair.
Nice.
That's no good. Suzanne says, we have house projects for the 4th. That sounds like our life.
Yeah, we gotta clean the house.
We do have to clean the house.
We're getting company and not just family.
I know, it's more company than family. We're going to have Kristen Fagan here from the Softlex company. Y'all probably know her. She's going to be staying with us for a few days. And Cynthia will be here, all at the same time. So, good thoughts for Babette as she's dealing with new people coming in.
She likes Cynthia, though.
She does like Cynthia. She likes them. And
I'm sure she'll like
she
Kristen.
generally warms up pretty quickly. When we had a house sitter, one of our friends watching them while we were in Providence, she warmed up the fastest. So she's
brave.
She is brave, and she's
I
strong.
just found out that my piece is on the first page of an online anthology.
That piece is on the front page now of an online anthology, Andrew says.
There's like 20 pages, so that's nice. Got good placement.
Nice front page.
Yeah. Hopefully it will be good.
Molly says, whoa, a packed house for you all soon.
I know.
And we have one possible guest bedroom that's actually a guest bedroom that was Andrew's old studio. So we got to try and make that clean. And then
this room.
And then this room that we're in has 2 desks,
which we're gonna,
a laser, bookcase, 3 bookcases.
We'll probably have to take your desk apart.
Maybe we'll move the laser over where it needs to go in the cottage and push my desk there.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I'd rather get the laser out of here. Let's see. Cindy says, Babette likes me so much she likes to nest around my throat.
That's how she does me. I trained her. She
trained to keep your throat warm in the winter.
Yeah, she gives me a massage. I go, it's time for bed. I said, tuck me in.
He does. He orders her to tuck him in.
And so she gives me a massage. She does my shoulders. And then she kisses my nose. And then she sits there and comforts me with purring.
For a while, and then she goes away. She goes to do her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Susan says, I wish our cats liked new people. Our first cat, Boots, ruled the roost and loved people. Sandra says, that's amazing, Andrew. Congratulations.
About the bat?
No, about your front page, I think.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I am apparently that little brooch is like winter chicken dinner. People like it.
You better keep making stuff. Don't rest on your laurels here, sir.
Dude, I'm trying. You don't know me. I have to go to Pittsburgh tomorrow. I forgot.
I know. We're going to Pittsburgh tomorrow. Yeah. I might be going along. We'll see. There's a place on the way that Andrew's just learning about this now, that we're going to stop at probably and pick up. There's special goat's milk for cats. And we're going to probably get her some because she sometimes likes that. And it's a good nutrient boost for her.
That's cute. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I was going to go up to Indiana today, which is like an hour away. And my mom says, well, if you're going to Pittsburgh anytime soon, there's one right along the way.
Well, we are literally in the middle of everything. An hour is to Pittsburgh. An hour is to Touchstone. An hour is to Indiana. Johnstown's closer than that. I don't know what is out that way. What's out that way? State College is like an hour and a half.
State College is longer, yeah, but not
Or
by
is it
much.
Altoona?
Altoona is probably an hour and a half, because that's when we're coming back from. We go through Altoona, and that's about an hour and a half. State College is about 2 hours away from us.
Okay, that's where Kristen's child is going.
Yeah. So let's see here. Molly says, our calico that we lost did that for my younger daughter. She would lay with her and help her go to sleep.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. Good job.
They have to be useful.
Barnaby does that with me. Barnaby's my buddy. He curls up with me. I come in the bed. I said, let's go to bed. And I start walking up the stairs usually, and he runs up the stairs ahead of me.
Because he can't walk up the stairs.
Yeah, he just runs. And then he waits outside of the bathroom for me to brush my teeth and get ready. And then we go into the bed together. And usually Gilbert does the same thing. If Barnaby's not there, Gilbert will do it. And they go in the bed, and they start getting ready. And then I go in the bed, and they all cuddle around me.
Paolo used to do it.
Paolo used to be my sleeping buddy.
He slept on the pillow. He had to share the pillow.
Yeah, I had to share my pillow with Paolo. He would lay there, and he'd put his head on the pillow, and he'd stare at me. He'd look at me fondly before I went to sleep.
He'd tuck himself in. So he'd go underneath the covers and put his little head on the pillow.
He'd burrow underneath the covers, roll himself around so that his little head stuck out of the pillow or out of the covers. And then he'd set his head on the pillow. He's a cutie. I miss that boy.
Sometimes he'd give me a massage too, and I loved it.
Yeah, he had some weight behind him. But Barnaby, he's my buddy. He's sitting right here. He says, talk about me more.
Barnaby sometimes gives me rub-ins, but there's this very specific procedure that we have to do to have it happen. And I don't always have that kind of energy. Like I have to abduct him, and then I have to put him in a certain position, and then pet his tail and his little hind haunches, and then he starts going. But sometimes he uses claws, so that's also.
Cynthia says, okay, I'm going on my walk.
She's like,
done. Suzanne says, our cats ignore us during the summer. They sleep with us in the winter. We have the air conditioners on like in the bedroom, so when they come to sleep, they get cold and they cuddle good.
It helps with circulation in the house.
Right.
Normally, we would just open the windows, but then if we open the windows at night, then all we hear is like a thunderous dun 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 dun, and they're running from window to window,
chasing things outside the house, running from window to window, and
keeping a watch.
Plus, it's hot and humid and sticky most nights Anyway, we're going to go. Thank you for tuning in with us. We're going to go pick up a table, apparently, and then get some dinner because I'm hungry. So I will see.
Lasagna.
I did make lasagna last night, so we got leftovers to eat. So that should be good.
A whole pan of leftovers.
I know. So thank you all so very much for tuning in. And I hope you enjoyed this, even though we didn't even get to chat all that, but we just talked about us most of the time. This is not what these are supposed to be about. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Have a great weekend. We should see you back here. I don't know if we'll see you Monday because of the holiday. Most people will probably be doing stuff anyway. So we'll be back here on Tuesday, if not.
We might pop on tomorrow to debut the kit.
We'll see. All right. So stay tuned. Have a wonderful weekend if we don't see you. And be careful out there, everyone. Be safe. Bye now.